What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Championship Weekend in the National Football League. You are watching World of Matchups, and my name is Dexter Reed, and I will be your host this week and every week, breaking down every single matchup in the National Football League. We're coming to you live and direct from the Grab It Television studios here in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. To my right, I have a man that needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized free world. On the controls here at Grab It, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say what's up to everybody, bro.
What's going on?
Nice to have you with us. We are here. You are there. A lot has happened in the National Football League since the divisional round took place, and we are here to start it off by breaking it down with the quick hitters. Let's roll. ESPN's Jamison Hensley reports that the Ravens are nearing a contract extension with Coach John Harbaugh. Now, I like John Harbaugh. I do. I do think he made some questionable calls this year that cost his team a shot at the playoffs. I think going for two is overrated in a lot of these games. On two separate occasions, one at home, one on the road, he went for two when he didn't necessarily need to and lost both games. I think if he makes one of those, the Ravens are in the playoffs. Even without Lamar, they would have had a decent shot. I would be very leery of giving this guy a super long-term deal. I'm not saying he needs a one-year prove-it deal, but be careful. A lot of these coaches overthink themselves, and I think he is one of them. Next, Mr. Tom Brady said on his Let's Go podcast that his role as a husband and a father will play a huge part in whether or not he comes back next year. Now, if you've ever listened to that, and I know you have, Spencer, I think it's nothing but a glorified interview. All right? Who are we fooling? We all know that Tom Brady is not going out like that. Tom Brady is not ending his career like that with a busted lip in a game that they should have won at home. You can expect him back. He needs to keep Giselle happy. It's all pomp and circumstances and a lot of fluff. Don't believe the hype. Tom Brady will be on the field next year behind that O-line taking snaps. Next, Packers HC Matt LaFleur says that there are no plans for a rebuild for that team in 2022. Look, we all know that the Packers choke in big spots. It's just what they do. However, the Packers aren't far away from going deep in the playoffs. They need a number two receiver. They need to solidify their back end and get better special teams. And they need to retain the services of Davante Adams and Mr. Aaron Rodgers. There's no room for a rebuild. There's no reason to say they're going to rebuild. Blowing it up right now would be stupid. Yes, they may be in cap hell, but he has to come out and say this. Why? Because he wants to keep his aging veteran stars. Davante Adams has to come back. Aaron Rodgers has to come back for this team to not fade into obscurity. Coach speak is exactly what this is. Next, head coach Mr. Sean Payton will not return to the New Orleans Saints in 2022. This is monumental, okay? This is monumental. Coach Payton has been great for that team. One of the greatest, most gutsy calls I've ever seen in my life is when he kicked the onside kick to open up the second half of the Super Bowl. And I think he's smart. He's getting out. He sees the writing on the wall, okay? You don't have a decent quarterback. You're in cap hell. You overpaid Taysom Hill. What's their wide receiver's name? That's always hurt now.
Michael Thomas?
Michael Thomas is not doing anything. He'll be traded. Alvin Kamara is eventually going to push his way out. I mean, you do have a good defense, but you're another team that is in cap hell. And now he's seeing guys like Bill Cowher, Jimmy Johnson, who everyone said were going to come out of the booth and go back to coaching, living fat and loving life. I guarantee you Sean Payton will do TV for a number of years, especially now that Amazon has found its way into the National Football League. And then if he wants to come back and take the pick of whatever jobs there are, he can. It's a great position to be in. Now, he says he's not retiring, quote unquote, but let's be honest. He's 59, he's had some health issues. Bounty Gate will never, ever, be off his head. Take a break. Go do some TV. Get some TV money. I could see him being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2 years because we all know Mike McCarthy's not going to survive that. It's a good position for Sean Payton to be in, and we wish him well. I got no beef with Sean Payton.
It almost makes you think that he is retiring and that's why the Cowboys kept Mike McCarthy. He's just hanging around there waiting for him to come back. I think he has
just keeping the spot
2
warm.
more years left on his contract.
Yeah.
They could easily trade.
They could prove him.
If Sean Payton wanted to come back and say, I'm not coming back for you guys, they have to give him the respect. Saying, we'll trade you for a 6th-round pick or something like that. But it feels like the Cowboys are waiting for Sean Payton.
Cowboys are waiting for Sean Payton. Don't believe the hype.
I believe
McCarthy, that. Mike McCarthy's an absolute idiot. And Jerry's an idiot for keeping this guy. Next. KC released Josh Gordon. Not much to see here. Smoke and mirrors, another veteran that goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, kind of a la Le'Veon Bell. Doesn't do much. No one picks him up off waivers. He has stayed clean. Kudos to him for doing so. No one thought that he would. Now the KC Chiefs have signed him to the practice squad. Not much to see here. Just something that we need to throw in for the quick hitters. For all of you people out there that are really holding out hope that Josh Gordon would one day return to his 2013, 2014 form, those days are over, and they're never coming back. Next, Tyrann Mathieu suffered a concussion. He got kneed in the head on the very first play of the game on Sunday night. He's in the concussion protocol. Practiced in a limited capacity yesterday and the day before. He should be good to go for Sunday. His Twitter is all signals are pointing to him being back on the field, and the Chiefs are going to need him because Joe Burrow is salivating at the opportunity to throw against a former LSU product. Next, the NFL's competition committee is likely to consider proposed changes to the league's overtime rules. So I got a lot to say about this. Okay, first things first. I want to know where all of you people who are complaining about the overtime rules from Sunday night until right now were in 2019 when Patrick Mahomes did not get to touch the ball in his own building versus Tom Brady. That's first things first, because I don't remember a lot of you complaining about things then. And that game was good. It wasn't game of the century like this just was versus the Bills, but none of you were saying anything. Now, the overtime rules stink. They stink. Spencer, tell the people what you just told me about how you feel the overtime rules are in the NFL.
Well, it's just, I think in general that college football rules are better. Both the teams get a chance. They're both in the red zone too, which is more interesting, I guess, on every other front because it's you have an equal chance to score, in the most hotly contested. There can be no debate in college football because each of these teams get a very equal chance. And here we are. A coin toss pretty much determines who wins an overtime game in the NFL now.
Yeah, because both those defenses were gassed. Whoever got the ball first, you knew they were scoring, and that's exactly what the Chiefs did. They marched right up the field, and they scored. Now, I felt bad for Josh Allen, and I felt bad for America because as good as that game was, and that was the best game I have ever seen in my life, it would have been even better if Josh Allen now gets the ball and gets his chance to go down the field, which I think he absolutely would because there's a friggin' Terminator all night long. Look, this is what I'm proposing. Coin flip, whoever gets the ball, you got to go down and you got to score 7. If you score 7 or even 3, the opposing team gets their chance to score. If you score 3 and then they score 7, they win. If you score 7 and they score 7, the next score wins. But everyone gets to touch the rock. It makes for better football. But all you freaking hypocrites out there that are acting like this hasn't happened recently, I didn't hear nothing from y'all 4 years ago. Patrick Mahomes cried himself to sleep that night. And Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. That's a game that if Patrick Mahomes touches the ball first after coming back, that was an absolute tsunami of points they came back and scored against the Patriots. They probably go to the Super Bowl, and then they win the Super Bowl. So, yes, no game should be predicated on the flip of a coin. But let's not act like this hasn't happened. Y'all weren't screaming like this. It was PM 15. So don't swing from Josh Allen's nuts now when it's the exact same situation. And that's all I got to say about that. Next, the Bucs. They waived Le'Veon Bell. Same situation, Josh Gordon. Who cares? This guy's fallen, faded out of obscurity. He'll like put out a rap album pretty soon. No one cares about what Le'Veon Bell is doing. I don't know why teams keep picking this guy up. He was a stud in his prime, but he pushed his way out of Pittsburgh, and he's done nothing since then. Hasta la bye-bye. May you never be heard from again. Next, very important one, okay? The Bears have hired former Kansas City Chiefs executive Ryan Poles to replace Ryan Pace. Huge. A little rushed, maybe? I don't know. Okay? But it seems like everybody wants to start picking from the Kansas City tree. Now, this is the important part here, because in November of 2020, the National Football League approved its plan to reward teams for developing minority head coaching and general manager candidates. You think there's a minority problem for coaching and candidates in the National Football League? They're actually coming out and saying so by implementing this. And so now the Kansas City Chiefs will receive a third-round pick in 2022 and a third-round pick in 2023. Holy cow. Just for giving up that one guy? Dude, Kareem Hunt was a third-round pick. Third-round picks are sometimes first-round picks. That's 2 players you're getting for that. Look, I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just stating the obvious. This rule would not have been implemented if there wasn't an issue with minority coaches and GMs.
Oh, no doubt. That's
Period.
the reason they put it in.
End of statement.
But I think on the other side, just talk about the Bears for a second. It does feel like they rush through the process really fast.
What are they doing?
It's not like, maybe Ryan Poles was like at the top of some exec list, and there were quite a few vacancies, like as opposed to head coaching, which was like 7. There's still a few, so maybe that was that. But
what's the rush
for a head coach too? Like you have to get some guy that nobody else was going to hire in the league.
What's the rush?
I don't know. I
the
just don't,
Giants
I don't agree.
too.
Yeah,
guys, let the Super Bowl play out. Really do your due diligence. Remember when everyone rushed to get Joe Judge and what's that other clown that's in Carolina?
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule. Rushed out, and both these guys got signed. They panicked. They got these guys, and they're both awful.
And both of these teams are in bad spots in their franchise.
Bad spots. What are you guys doing, man? It makes 0 sense to me,
Pretty
but
wild.
You know what? As a Chief fan, I'll take those picks. Next, this statement came out literally hours after Spencer and I did our last show, and we told you, folks, don't believe the hype, okay? In preparation for the division round weekend matchups, the NFL has issued a statement to the remaining 8 postseason teams regarding the updated cadence for COVID-19 testing. So they go on and say that they inform clubs that neither vaccinated or unvaccinated would be subjected to daily testing moving forward. Ooh, I wonder why. Really?
I can't believe this.
No.
They simply just like, yeah, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
If you don't test, it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Why? Because Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are playing even if they have COVID on Sunday. That's why. What a joke. What an absolute joke. The only thing that could have made that statement worse is if Joe Biden said it in front of the world. That is an absolute travesty. COVID doesn't matter to the National Football League. They don't care. I've said it once. I've said it a million times, and I'm going to keep doubling down on it. And someone will have to be on their deathbed before they are not allowed to play either of these games. An absolute sham. And if you're out there buying and eating this stuff up, you should be ashamed of yourself. Open your eyes. They don't care. Next. Kansas City, Buffalo. This game averaged 42.7 million viewers on CBS, making it the most watched divisional round game in 5 years. And during overtime, 51.7 million viewers all over the globe. Look, for all of you folks out there that are crying boycotting, keep boycotting because no one gives a damn about you and your boycott. People are watching this product.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
And I feel bad for anyone that missed this game. I watched this game at home. My whole block hates me. All my neighbors, none of them will talk to me. They can't stand me. The police drove by my house twice. I had the door open. I give 0 Fs. Okay, this is my team. We're going off. This was the most entertaining game I have ever watched in my life. All week long, I was trying to figure out what's been a better game than I've ever watched. I thought maybe Rams-Chiefs, 54-50. Okay, but that wasn't in the playoffs. Super Bowl when the Chiefs won, yeah, maybe, but this had real juice. Jimmy Garoppolo's not Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a freaking Terminator. This was the best game I've ever seen. For all of you out there boycotting, I don't care. Spencer doesn't care. Grabbit doesn't care. Boycott. Please. Because I'm here to tell you, Colin Kaepernick could start a game Sunday, kneel before the game, in the middle of the anthem, and 50 million people will still watch. You continue to boycott and watch the Hallmark Channel all you want. We'll be here reveling in our National Football League. Next. More ridiculous fines handing out this week by the National Football League. Tyreek Hill fined almost $13,000 for using the cheerleaders' pom-poms, having a good old time on the sideline, scoring big touchdowns during the divisional round, wild card weekend. Look, ridiculous. And Aaron Donald chokes Cardinals' DJ Humphries, straight up chokes him, and gets fined less. Make it make sense, Spencer.
Okay, honestly, the numbers also are kind of suspicious to me. It's like, that's a very oddly specific numbers, and where does this money go?
You know where it goes.
Charity?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Goes to Roger Goodell's
That sounds
man
like a
cave.
trip to the Bahamas type of number. Like
It's ridiculous.
Ticket prices, $12,875.
How do you come up with these numbers?
It's specific to me. I don't know.
think they just sit at. I think Roger Goodell just sits with the committee and is just like, well, let's just make up a number and find these guys. An absolute joke. And to wave pom-poms versus choking a dude out, you choke a guy and you get less. Boy, the NFL's got its priorities mixed up, man. It makes zero sense to me. Next, Ron Torbort's crew will be officiating this year's Super Bowl. This is very sad news for me to hear. Ron Torbort is one of the referees that we like to go after here at Roasting the Ref, here at Grab It, Television Studios, World of Matchups. This guy probably officiated one of the worst games I've seen this year. When Kansas City went to Cincinnati and lost that game, there was about 6 different missed calls. All of them went the way of the Bengals. It kind of is concerning to have this guy and his crew be up there. I don't know why the NFL or what the NFL is thinking about when you have one of the top 3 worst officiated games all year by a crew and then send that crew to the Super Bowl. I smell a rat. I'm not saying the NFL is fixed, but we all know that the NFL is scripted. And if Ron Torbort, whether my team gets in or not, chooses to pull some egregious nonsense, I'm sending anthrax to his house. Next. After the Kansas City Chiefs ripped out the Buffalo Bills' hearts, Chiefs Kingdom tore a page from the Bills Mafia playbook. More than 1,300 Chiefs fans have combined to donate tens of thousands of dollars to the John R. O'Shea Children's Hospital in Buffalo, okay? Many of the contributions came in $13 increments. The ultimate troll, even though it's for a good thing. It's the ultimate troll. I sent $13. I absolutely did. So this was on, I believe, Tuesday. Currently, Friday morning, the Kansas City Chiefs and Chiefs Kingdom have sent over $312,000 to Josh Allen's foundation to help these kids. I think that's fantastic. Your thoughts, Spencer? No,
it's good. I think the $13 it's a troll, but it's like appropriate. It's like, yeah, it was insane. So it's like, what else can you say? Like, it's just a good. Also, it's a good thing for trends. Also, people are like, oh, $13. That makes sense in my mind. So when you put that in, it kind of correlates a little bit. So more people are more interested in donating because it is like a very specific and pointed thing.
Yeah, and everybody can afford $13. I shouldn't say everyone, but most people can.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it shows good sportsmanship, good showmanship. It's going to a good cause. A lot of these kids sick, no insurance. They really need financial help. I know Josh Allen and the Bills Mafia really appreciates that. My friend Jordan Kusi, huge Bills fan. We've been kind of talking about it. It's the right way to continue a major rivalry. And kudos to Chiefs Kingdom. We have a lot of things that have happened in the kingdom this year that have been not good for TV, not good for the sport. People getting knocked out, Jackson Mahomes, Big Mouth Brittany, you know what I mean? It's nice to actually see us do something that's going to galvanize a rivalry and show honor and respect to Bills Mafia, because in my mind, that's a game that they should have won 100 out of 100 times. I will take the win, But Josh Allen, you're a good player. You're a good dude, and we take our hats off to you in Chiefs Kingdom. If you want to donate, go to ochbuffalo.org. Once again, that's ochbuffalo.org. Every single penny matters. And those kids are so thankful. Next, Evan Mcpherson. This guy is the league's next great kicker. I'm telling you, this guy can kick it from anywhere. Look at this clip I found from back when he was in college and guys were doing the bottle cap challenge. You know, this has got to be, 30, 40-yard field goal. Look at the accuracy on that. That's real. That really happened.
And like I said when we were talking about it, I thought the challenge would be just to hit the Gatorade bottle because it's so small.
Yeah.
No, he went for the cap.
And then to go for the game winner, he told Joe Burrow, look, we're going to the AFC Championship game before he even kicked it. I mean, ice in his veins. That team has got a lot of guys who have ice in their veins. And this kid's a rookie. And if I'm correct, Mcpherson was the only rookie to be taken in that round. I don't know what round it was. I don't think it was a first round. If you could find that out for me, Spencer, that'd be great. But this kid's a stud. And special teams in this part of the season, special teams matters. And if you don't think it matters, ask Aaron Rodgers if he thinks special teams matters. It matters knowing that you got a guy that can go out there, if you got to have that field goal, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55 yards, can nail it with ice in his veins and send you on to the next round. Evan Mcpherson is a player whose career I am watching with a level of enthusiasm, and I think he's going to be the best kicker in the NFL in 3 to 5 years. Next, Buccaneers OC Byron Leftwich is the favorite, rumored, to land the HC gig for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, when this came out, I thought it was pretty much a done deal. It just sounded like they were dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It has not yet happened. Rumors are circulating and sharks are swimming in the waters of saying that he won't go there and other guys won't go there until Trent Baalke is gone. So it sounds like there's a little power struggle going on in Jacksonville. If anyone was going to go out and land a coach right off the bat, I thought it would have been Jacksonville, but I think they're playing it smart here. Baalke is hated by all of the Jacksonville fans. I think he needs to go. I think you need to start fresh. I think when you have a little cancer, you still have cancer. And if he's this hated and this unfriendly and guys don't want to go there because he's still there, you got to get him out. I think Byron Leftwich has deserved a shot at a head coaching gig for quite a while, and I think it would be a good hire for Jacksonville. But they got to handle some internal business first. Next, I just love this. I just absolutely love this, especially because it piggybacks off what I said last week about Travis Kelce. So not only is Travis Kelce a Terminator, and not only is Travis Kelce potentially going to be TE1, the face of Mount Rushmore of tight ends by the time his season is over. In my mind, Travis Kelce is the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs won on Sunday night. Not Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes played a part. Not Andy Reid. Definitely not Andy Reid. This was all Travis Kelce, and I'll tell you why. Travis Kelce notices there's no squib kick, so now he's like, we need to get 2 plays to get the ball into Butker field goal range. He sees Tyreek. He sees what the defense is doing. Is Tyreek, go in, go back out. I'll block for you. You'll be wide open. They'll be at least 15 to 20 yards. And that is exactly what happened. The very next play, the Bills take a timeout. And Kelsey's like, man, if they're playing me like this, that sideline's wide open, man. Levi Wallace is playing real close to the sidelines. Matt Milano's playing all the way to the other side. He's like, I can go to that spot, Pat. Just get me the ball. And sure enough, they line up after the timeout, and Patrick sees the coverage, and you just hear him say, do it, Kels. Do it, do it. And exactly what Kelce does, he goes to the spot, he catches the ball, he falls down, he gets up, he calls timeout. In an epic meltdown of monumental proportions, Travis Kelce designs 2 plays by talking to his 2 skilled players that gets them into field goal range. Butker nails a 49-yarder, and the rest is history. Run tape, please, Spencer. This
now
is
the Chiefs have got to
brilliant.
somehow get in field goal range.
Hey, Ted.
10. They might man you up. I'm saying go outside and come back in like you're running a route outside. Okay. That way when you come back in, I can get in the way.
They actually have a chance to get Bucker in field goal range here.
Hey. They're playing like that. That seam is open.
8 seconds left, down 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Coach Kelsey. If the Kansas City Chiefs go on and win the Super Bowl, this is a defining moment in their season. And it didn't come at the hands of Andy Reid. I love Gronk. Prime Gronk, there's nothing better, but I've never seen Coach Gronk. Never. That, to me, in and of itself, shows not only the football physical skills, but the football acumen and IQ that players like Travis Kelce have, especially when they're in tune with absolute stud other players like Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Folks, that's a game that Buffalo never should have lost that game.
Well, the thing is about that drive is a tight end shouldn't be able to see that your coverage is that bad when the game's on the line. It can't happen.
Cannot happen.
I mean, again, I feel like it seems like I'm discrediting Kansas City for what they did in 13 seconds.
No, we hear what
it's
you're
very
saying.
Improbable. It's like,
yeah.
But it can't be that obvious. It can't be.
Terrible. Terrible job all around, okay? All around. I'm sorry. I like Sean McDermott. That was terrible. And we're going to talk about that here in the mailbag a little bit more. But I wanted to honor Travis Kelce, especially because I've been blowing up on him. You know, I think a lot of people forget that Travis Kelce is 32 years old. 32 football years old. I saw a couple plays this year where he ran past 4 defenders. Not only is he a great player physically, now he's showing you that there's a lot of coach in him. And just like Spencer the Wiz just said, to be able to dissect that kind of a defense, the defense should have never even looked like that at all. It's nothing but monumental. And I love the NFL turning points, and that's a great one. That's like Buffalo losing 4 Super Bowls in 13 seconds. Really bad.
Kind of horrible to be a Buffalo Bills fan in general.
I would hung
this year and in years past.
I'd have hung myself. I feel bad for Bills Mafia. I might send another $13.
At least the Raiders I knew were going to be bad every year. I never had any expectations, but the Bills always had
Bills beat
expectations.
the Chiefs. They steamroll Cincinnati this weekend, and they steamroll whoever they play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Roll. Brutal. The Bears, they have hired former Colts DC Matt Eberflus. Why?
Eric Bieniemy's out there.
Why?
You couldn't wait to at least
Is there
interview
something
him?
about the Colts defense that you saw this year that you were like, I have to have this guy as my head coach?
And beyond that, let's say he's the best defensive-minded coach available. Dan Quinn was, but let's say he was. Let's say this guy was the best defensive-minded coach. You need to develop your
Justin
quarterbacks.
Fields needs help. What are you doing, Bears?
How is this going to help him?
I sent my friend Eric Waltermeyer, who is a huge Bears fan. I work with this guy. I sent him a message, and he was like, I don't even know who this guy is. Who is this guy? Like, it makes 0 sense. Why would you rush off and hire this guy? What has he ever done? The Colts lost their season in egregious fashion, and you bring this guy in to replace. The Bears don't need a defensive-minded coach. We need someone to develop Justin
I believe
Fields.
in bad juju, too. They're hiring a guy off the most disastrous end to your season.
Makes
Plain and
0
simple.
sense. None. Like, I am flabbergasted. What are you guys in such a hurry to hire these guys for? Do your homework. If Matt Eberflus is the answer, what is the question?
Yeah, and I would genuinely feel different if the Colts made the playoffs and lost in the first round. It's that different to me. The way that season ended, you're bringing that guy over to a team full of losers.
You're spreading cancer. You're sharing it. Unbelievable. Terrible hire in my mind. Prove me wrong. Next, and finally, the Broncos hired former Packers OC Nathaniel Hackett. Dan Quinn is staying in Dallas as a DC. These are two very important things, okay? Hackett going from Green Bay to Denver, a lot of people are just assuming that because this has happened, now Davante Adams and A-Rod are going to find their way to Denver. Now, I think that'd be pure flames if that did happen. But let's pump the brakes for a second. I don't think it's necessary when you see smoke, you see fire type thing. I'm of the few people that think that somehow, some way, Aaron Rodgers is going to retire in Green Bay. And I think Davante Adams is going to be too. They're already talking about running it back one more time. It wouldn't surprise me. So let's be careful with Nathaniel Hackett.
I'll tell you how I feel about this. And you're 100,000% right. But I say this ubiquitously, no matter what happens in any franchise, going forward is always worth it because you never know when you'll have another opportunity. This isn't pushing all your chips in for
Right
Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't go there, this guy's going to be fired in 3 years in Denver.
There's no question about it.
But if he goes there, they could win a Super Bowl.
If Aaron Rodgers alone goes to Denver, they're a Super Bowl contention. If he brings Davante Adams with him,
they're Super Bowl favorites.
They're Super Bowl favorites. They're
So
Super Bowl favorites.
I cannot say that this isn't the right move, even if it doesn't work out. We put too much pressure or say on whether or not something works out or not. And that's the easiest route you can take in sports. Oh, it didn't work this because they didn't win, so it doesn't matter. No, it does matter because your opportunity may come around once every 10 years. Like Peyton Manning going to the Denver Broncos.
Shoot your shot.
You don't know if the guy came off of neck surgery. You don't know if it's going to work out, but you put all your chips into it, and what do you know? They got a Super Bowl
and
out
he
of
did
it.
absolutely nothing to win that Super Bowl, but he was there. I mean, if we're being honest, Eli's 2 rings are a little bit more impressive to me than Peyton's 2 rings. And I think you're right. I think Denver should do everything they can to get A-Rod. For some reason, I just don't see it happening. I could see them going. I could see him going to Pittsburgh before I see him going to Denver.
Me too. But
I could definitely see that
have
happening.
to commend the Broncos. That's my stance.
Yeah, for sure. And then Dan Quinn staying in Dallas. Folks, somebody tell me when Dan Quinn was this amazing DC that everybody's all up in arms about. I saw several games this year where they got their wigs blown off at home. Everyone's talking about Dan Quinn like he's the second coming of saving an NFL franchise. Okay, you're staying in D.C. I will put my stones in the middle of the table and say that when McCarthy goes, you're going to go with him. Pump the brakes. Dallas is in no position to be pumping their chest out about anything at all. All right. That's the quick hitters or not so quick hitters. Let's talk a little bit about our social media, folks. We're everywhere, all over social media, Facebook, Twitter. We have a TikTok page. We have a YouTube page. Like, subscribe, or you can go to grabit.com, Grabet. It is free, capital Free. And when there is nothing free in this world, Grabit is free. There's all kinds of amazing content there. Put in your email address, sign up, show us some love, and we'll show some back. Now, it is time for us to do our segment that we love the most, where we take issue with everything that happened wrong in the NFL when we roast the refs. My name is Dexter Reed. You're watching Spencer the Wiz to my right. Stay tuned on the flip, and let's go after these refs here.
Quarterback's arm.
No, God!
It is an incomplete pass.
No, God, please,
Pass is incomplete. No flag.
All right, folks, you know what this is. It's the time where we roast the refs. Roast the Refs segment sponsored by HeroesHeatingandAir.com. Check them out, Medford, Oregon, at HeroesHeatingandAir.com for all your service needs. So, another rough weekend for the National Football League referees. Some really obvious and blatant missed calls. We're going to start with this horrible call in Tennessee. I don't know how they could see that this ball did not hit the ground. This was a game changer. Check this out. Look at where this ball is. Look at what the circle has highlighted. They call this an interception. Folks, that ball is on the ground. This is the blind leading the blind. Ray Charles could have seen that ball touch the ground. Now, it's things like this that has everyone believing, myself included, that the NFL is absolutely scripted. It has to be.
To make the game more interesting at the very least.
I don't know. We have to get to a point where we have to understand the rules as being if the ball hits the ground, it's an incomplete pass. It's an incomplete catch. There's no way Run that again, please, Spencer. There's no way on God's green earth that we can look at this and see that this ball can be called an interception, albeit a bang-bang play. They have the same slow-mo information and broadcasting equipment that we do.
I joked with you that the replay booth is just a private FaceTime call with Roger Goodell.
That's all it is. They call Roger Goodell and they
play.
say, okay, what do you want to do with this one, Roger? And he's in his man cave drinking his, Glenlivet 12 in his little sweater that his mom knitted for him, and he says, let it stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it just clicks out. There's no goodbye.
He's got like a Death Star set up in there.
Horrible, horrible, horrible call.
Do it.
Next, no taunting call on my man Tyreek Hill here. Okay, look, Chiefs are down big in this game. Tyreek catches the slant. The afterburners are on, runs past 5 guys, and throws up the peace sign at the 15-yard line. Score stands. Look, taunting is the worst call in the National Football League. We know this. But there is no way that you can allow that to happen after calling it all season. I don't understand. Which is it? Is it taunting all the time, or is it taunting sometimes?
And here's the thing, right? And that's the way that taunting should be called, which is not. But you can't do that, but also allow the Steelers in the playoffs by letting them beat the Bears on. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
They won the game because of that taunting call.
They won the game because of that BS taunting call. And then, look, this is a hotly contested game. That's clear taunting. Clear. And he's thrown up the peace sign quite a bit and been fined for it. Now, I have a funny feeling that the pressure's going to come on, and this week he'll catch a fine. But in the moment is where it matters. Because what's the call then? Is it assessed after the penalty? Is it assessed on the field? The NFL has to get this right. And, folks, I'm not a homer. Tyreek Hill is my guy. That's my team. But let's call it right. Fair is fair. Next. This is really starting to piss me off. I'm telling you straight up, man. I don't know how many times I have seen Patrick Mahomes get hit like this, and there not been a flag. Enough is enough. This is the face of the NFL. Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP, franchise quarterback, face of the league, NFL top 100, number 1 player. You have to throw a flag there. Show this next one. Same game. I mean, my goodness. Look at this. Come on. I mean, come on. Can we start protecting Patrick Mahomes? This is bad. This is like, these are Cam Newton type shots.
It's not bad. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. You are going to knock the face of the league out with these kind of calls, and not a flag is thrown. Not one, not two, none. It's egregious. Protect Patrick Mahomes. Do you think you'd ever see that happen to Tom Brady? Never. I saw Tom Brady get laid out one time in his career versus the Buffalo Bills, and he has never been touched since. This is really bad. Protect Patrick Mahomes, NFL. If I can see this, and Spencer can see this, and Helen Keller can see this, you're missing the mark. Next. Look, a lot of people are going to take issue with this one. I'm not one of them. I follow the letter of the law. Okay? This interception, the final one that cost Tennessee the game, that's pass interference, folks. That's pass interference. I don't care how you dial it up. That is pass interference. The defender is there before the ball gets there. He's hugging the guy. He grabs his right arm. Now, the guy flat out dropped the ball. That's how it looks on television. But if you hit the slow-mo angle or hit the picture, how is that not pass interference? How?
And those are two game-deciding decisions, too.
How? How is that not pass interference?
It was the interception and then this interception.
I mean, come on, folks.
And
we have to get to a place where these calls are made right so the right team wins. Okay? That's pass interference. I guarantee you Tennessee will get that ball, and Bullock will, at worst, make a field goal. And Tennessee will win that game, and Kansas City would be going to Tennessee this week. But no, Cincinnati gets the call again. Jamar Chase is wide open, and then Mcpherson is God. That is a game-changing call. Look at it with your own eyes, folks.
This is what worries me, because in hockey, a referee got caught mic'd. He's fired now, but I hate it when we play the blame game on one referee as if they're not all in.
They're all in cahoots.
So the guy made a makeup call in the game, and he got hot mic'd for it, and he got fired.
Should get fired.
That feels like a makeup call to me.
It feels
And
like a makeup call to me.
That if you make the wrong call, you
make
got to
the wrong
accept the
call.
responsibility, but you can't. There's no such thing as a makeup call. That's baloney.
It's all bullshit. And look, I understand from the first angle when you see it, you're like, wow, he just dropped the ball. Because that's what it looks like on television. It's a bang-bang play. Tannehill rifled that in. But when you go back and look at that, that's pass interference, and it wasn't called. Next. Finally, instead of roasting the refs, I'm going to toast the refs. Because you guys finally grew a set and blew up Tom Brady. Okay? So Tom Brady gets hit by Von Miller in their loss at home. Brady is pointing to his lip. I'm bleeding. Throw a flag. And he keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And finally, they throw an unsportsmanlike penalty against Tom Brady. And the heavens opened up and Jesus came down and we all rejoiced evermore. Enough. Tom Brady even said on his Let's Go podcast that, you know what, they hold back a lot of unsportsmanlike comments. I get fired up out there, and they never call it. Well, they did finally. And now your ass is home watching the Rams in the championship game. I couldn't be happier about it. Enough is enough. I said last week on one of the most epic rants I've ever had, the league has to stop swinging from Tom Brady's junk. It has to stop. And so kudos to you guys. We're going to end Roast the Refs with Toast the Refs because you finally grew a set and did the right thing and got Tom Brady out of there. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, everybody, we are back. And it is time for our mailbag Q&A where we get to talk about some of the things that you guys want to talk about, but mostly what me and Spencer want to talk about. We got a bunch of different things on the table. Let's start with my friend Dan O'Brien from Long Island, New York, who will be on the show today. Why didn't Buffalo squib kick when every second matters? My goodness, this is a great question. It's being debated hotly all over the airwaves all week long. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. So, in his defense, he doesn't squib kick it, okay? Put your defense on the field and let him get it. Or he does squib kick it, okay? Let's say, for instance, Chiefs get it at the 50. Now, I believe in running time off the clock. It's 13 seconds. Every second matters. If you put the Chiefs in a position where they have 9 seconds, that's a lot harder to win that game than if they have 13. I think it's an absolutely boneheaded move. And here's the thing that bothers me the most about this. Sean McDermott has in his pocket the most loyal fan base in probably all of professional sports to not win anything. Bills Mafia is jumping through tables. They're jumping through tables that are lit on fire. Babies are being born and being put through tables. They fill the stadium. It's freaking freezing cold. You owe, at that moment, during your press conference, you owe your fans an excuse of what you were thinking about.
Here's the thing. You can either give 2 plays to Patrick Mahomes or you squib kick it to a defensive lineman who's in the back tier of your kickoff. What's the right decision there?
And you get paid to make that decision.
Yeah.
Okay? You get paid a lot of money to make that decision. Now, me, I'm squib kicking it. I'm sorry. I'm running time off the clock. Folks, it's time to understand that Patrick Mahomes has entered the chat of Tom Brady when it comes to you can't leave any time on the clock. He's in the chat. Okay? He's in that chat. And so if I can shave time off the clock, I'm doing it. I'll take my chances. Buffalo's got good special teams. Believe in your defense. When you kick that ball into the end zone and you give them 2, Kansas City can chew up chunks of field like no one in the National Football League. To me, it is the biggest brain fart so far in the playoffs, and the fact that he is now not man enough to own it. I forgot his exact words, but he didn't own up to it. Bills Mafia deserves to know what you were thinking, and you're never going to get that answer. Second part of the question by Danny. Why do teams play prevent defense when it hardly ever works? It doesn't work. Prevent defense prevents you from winning. Matt Milano is shading over to the sidelines. Levi Wallace is shading over to the sidelines. Don't you recognize who you're playing against?
They have timeouts.
3 timeouts. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Eat in the middle of the field. Travis Kelce eats like Thanksgiving in the middle of the field. Why are you guarding the sidelines? Why are you guarding the sidelines? Why are you dropping your safeties too deep in the end zone like you think Patrick Mahomes is really going to go for the whole ball of wax there? What kind of idiots are you? You think he's going to throw a Hail Mary there? Don't you know who Harrison Butker is? Harrison Butker can kick a 60-yard field goal. Harrison Butker in practice kicked a 66-yard field goal to give the Chiefs a day off this year. How do you not know that? I know that. And it's not just because I'm a fan. How do you not know that? How do you not protect your quarterback who did everything and spit blood on that field? How do you give that up? And look, it's time also that we call out the Buffalo defense hardcore. The number one ranked playoff defense, supposedly. Buffalo played nobody this year. The only decent win Buffalo had all year, and I'm going to say it right now, is when they beat Kansas City. That defense played like a bunch of kittens. Your job is to go out there and defend the field. And I said to everybody, losing Tre'Davious White was going to kill this team. And it did. It did. You have to go make a stop. You're the number one ranked defense. You got to stop Kansas City with 13 seconds. You have one job. You spent your whole life waiting for this moment. All of Bill's Mafia is driving a tank through Kansas City, and you could not get it done. Egregious. Heartbreaking, too. Really is.
It's
You want to talk about stabbing yourself to death.
It's about as tough as it gets.
Doesn't get any tougher than that. Next. Discuss Aaron Rodgers' non-clutchness. You know I got to add this because I'm an Aaron Rodgers hater, and I don't want to hear another word about this guy being the greatest quarterback since sliced bread. He ain't even in the discussion. Lost in the divisional round in 2022, 2021, 2020, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012. Somebody tell me where the clutch gene is, and I don't want to hear nothing about he doesn't have the people around him. Davante Adams is good. You got decent ancillary players. I'm sorry. Aaron Jones is a stud. You got a decent coach, supposedly. You guys win 13 games every year.
I think Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback to ever touch a football, but he's not even close to being the greatest quarterback of all time because of this, and I'm telling you this is what it is. He doesn't care about winning.
He's not a winner.
Winning is not the most important thing in his life.
Aaron Rodgers cares more about what the media thinks and what you and I think than actually winning Super Bowls.
That's the difference between Tim
He's
and Tom
not
Brady.
a winner. I will list you quarterbacks right now in the last 50 years that I will take over Aaron Rodgers currently. All things on the table, okay? Manning, both of them. Obviously, Tom Brady. I would take Patrick Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers right now. Right now, I will take it. Drew Brees. I'll take it. Drew Brees saved New Orleans. Saved. Okay? I would take Russell Wilson.
Oof.
I would take Russell Wilson over Aaron Rodgers right now.
Joe Montana.
Montana.
Big time.
Steve Young.
Yeah. They cared about winning, all those guys.
I can keep going. I did this in the chat on my phone with my homeboys the other day. I can go on and on and on. Aaron Rodgers is not a winner. He's a smug prick. And you can only live off your talent so long. Never in my life have I seen a team fold like a house of cards when they get punched in the mouth like the Green Bay Packers do. And I don't want to hear about that frozen tundra no more. Look, that worked against their own team. That's your home. That's your home state. You think that would happen in Buffalo? You think the Buffalo Bills would let snow and ice and wind stop them?
It was like 0 degrees against the Patriots, and it looked like it was
let
a
San Francisco march in there with
degrees.
Jimmy Egregious and punch you in the mouth like that? Again and again and again? At least this year you had the game at home, and it still happened. You want to talk about a non-clutch gene? I don't ever want to hear another word about Aaron Rodgers being close to being the GOAT. That guy folds like a house of cards when anything is on the line. And look, if it's just win, baby, for him, it's just lose, baby. I don't trust him in a big spot anywhere. And don't be surprised if you see this picture in your future here where you see Aaron Rodgers wearing the black and the gold, or you see Aaron Rodgers in Denver. I think he'll stay. It's all pinned on what Davante Adams will do. What will Davante do? But they're going to keep those two together somehow. But I don't want to hear another word Going on Pat McAfee is more important than Aaron Rodgers, than winning. No one can talk me off this. You Green Bay fans can come take issue with me, come on the show, grab it. We're always open. I'll put you right next to me, and you can tell me what is so special about Aaron Rodgers. Stats don't matter if you can't win when your team needs you to win. And he did absolutely nothing except stink up the joint on Sunday. I'm ashamed to even say I took Green Bay. Next, will Tom Brady retire? I can't see it. There's something about guys who are wired like Tom Brady. All they want to do is win. That's all he knows how to do. That's all his life has been. I don't think Tom Brady ever lost. I don't think Tom Brady even ever pooped his diaper. Like, Tom Brady has been a picture-perfect human his entire life. Like, I'm not saying he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but when it came to athletics and sports, this guy never lost. Why would he stop now? They'll fix that offensive line. They won't do a boneheaded move again and throw Tristan Wirfs out there, so he'll be protected again, 45-46. I mean, he has to say that stuff about Giselle and the kids. That's what you say around now when you're trying to play your way back onto the field. You have to say that. That's all coach speak. That's all players speak.
I was joking with my friend last week, and I said, I bet you he sulks sometimes about random Monday Night Football losses that he had, like in his second year in the league or something like that. He's like, yeah, and he can tell you about the coverages that there were.
I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you talking about? I was like, 2012.
Linemen
like,
tripped me. The guy never.
He's insane.
I mean,
He's actually.
I would never want to play like Monopoly with Tom Brady. I wouldn't want to play like chess with Tom Brady. The guy, all he does
So
is
annoying.
win. There's a clutch gene inside him that just will not die. And literally, until his body shuts down, you can expect to see that guy on the field. I'm never going to back off that. I don't want to hear another word about Tom Brady not coming back. We all know Tom Brady doesn't clean out his locker. That's who Tom Brady is. He doesn't clean out his locker. I'll just leave it there till next season. I'll be back. You know he's coming back. Don't play yourself thinking he's not. I'll be shocked if Brady retires. Next. Someone tell me, please, why Cooper Kupp is always open. I'm a Cooper Kupp fan, okay? But why is this guy always open? Cooper Kupp is breaking people's hearts, breaking people's ankles, breaking people's body down. I mean, have we seen a season like Cooper Kupp in the last 10 years? Look at this one throw from Matthew Stafford. The guy is open 10 yards, and there's no one around him. Who is that out there? Sean Murphy Bunting? Who's that? Jamel Dean? Those guys are burnt toast. And then he takes it to the house, and then he makes another clutch throw to win the game. I've never seen anything like this, and I think it's time that we give Matthew Stafford, I've been saying this for a couple weeks now, we got to give Stafford some credit. Cooper Kupp doesn't throw the ball to himself, folks. So two of the best wide receiver years ever in the history of this league had Matthew Stafford as the quarterback. Megatron has said it openly. He's like, Matthew Stafford's one of the toughest quarterbacks I've ever played with ever. It's time. And don't be surprised if he beats up on San Francisco this week. I'm telling you, folks, we'll talk about that here in the breakdown. And then finally, we would be remiss here at World of Matchups, and it's honestly my honor as a Kansas City Chief fanatic to do this breakdown on Josh Allen, because this is a rivalry that's not going anywhere. And I'm here to tell you, Josh Allen is winning Super Bowls. It's just a matter of time. It reminds me of Kansas City needing to get over the hump. Now it's Buffalo's turn. Look at some of these look at this stuff. Shaking guys out of their boots. 6'6", 240. What could Josh Allen not do? Does anyone remember a playoff game where the quarterback just looked this unstoppable, running and throwing the football? There's nothing Josh Allen can't do. He threw a 65-yard bomb basically without even putting his first foot forward into it. And then is just chilling. Yeah, I did that. Hurdling fools, running over fools. You don't even need a running back when you have Josh Allen. Off his back foot. It's been a while since I've seen a player take strides like this year after year after year, because I remember a couple years ago in Houston, in their first playoff game on the road, Josh Allen looked like a freaking circus. It was like, I mean,
the conversation about Josh Allen in his first season was like, is he going to be the quarterback next year?
He was horrible.
Yeah.
And this guy is an absolute mammoth. Hard to stop. I'm telling you, Buffalo, I know you guys are really feeling it right now. Believe me when I tell you, I've been there. I've had these gut-wrenching losses. The Priest home fumble, Lynn Elliott, you know what I mean? Terrell Davis, Andrew Luck bouncing it and then going into the end zone. The Chiefs have lost some absolutely egregious games. Tom Brady, you're talking to someone that knows. Heartbreak is in the DNA of every Kansas City Chief fan. So don't think for a second that we don't know what you're feeling. We get it. We're almost sending you money because we feel bad. But your future is bright. Any matchup between forget Tom Brady, between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen moving forward is as important as Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Every single one. So hold your heads high because you'll be back. All right, folks. It's time. I'm going to bring in some of my homeboys, and we are going to break down these two games. Okay? Our special guest. You know who he is. My man, Danny O'Brien from Long Island, New York. We're going to come back with him and my homeboy, AG Magic. And then we're going to follow up with the Deacon of Dallas. We're going to run a 4-man panel for the first time this year at World of Matchups. And we're going to break these games down in all their entirety. We're going to pay some bills and come back and do that. My name is Dexter Reed. That's Spencer the Wiz. You've been watching World of Matchups, and we'll see you guys on the flip. Stay tuned. Heroes Heating and Air are HVAC experts with great customer service and an unbeatable price point. They are certified Rheem heating and air conditioning equipment dealers in the Southern Oregon area, including Medford, Grants Pass, and Ashland. They offer free bids and estimates, 24-hour repair service, new installation and replacements, attractive maintenance agreements, and a senior citizen special with home efficiency replacements. Check them out online at heroesheatingandair.com or call 541-821-1615. All right, folks, it's the time of the show where we break down the AFC and the NFC championship game. And to do so, I have brought in some of the greatest football minds I have ever met. Introducing from Long Island, New York, Mr. Danny O'Brien of Up Top Studios, coming to you live and direct from Las Vegas, Nevada. Sponsor of the show, realtor, restaurant manager, husband, father, Mr. A.G. Magic. And finally, a man that knows everything there is to know about football, a man that needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized free world. The Deacon of Dallas, coming to us live and direct from the country of Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott Broyles. Gentlemen, welcome to the panel. All right, so this is how we're going to roll it. We're going to break down the AFC Championship game first. Danny, we'll start with you. You tell us who you like. We'll handicap fully. You tell us the numbers. You tell us why. And then we'll roll Alex, then to Scotty, and then I'll give you my take on Chiefs at home versus the Kittens. Let's roll.
The Kittens. Well, as you know, I was 13 seconds from nailing my preseason Bills hosting the AFC Championship game. So I was a little tight on Sunday night. I was like, so close. But you just can't give Mahomes any time. You can't give Mahomes any time. Bengals Chiefs. I feel like this is like, people are comparing the 49ers to the Giants from years ago when they played the Patriots close late in the season that they beat them in the Super Bowl. I get that kind of feeling with the Bengals. They played the Chiefs late. They know they can stay in the game with them, and that gave them that confidence that they're going to hang around with them. And I'm going to pick the shocker. Bengals will go in the game. Score is going to be 31-28.
Over under?
3-point game. So that's going to be...
So you're going over. You're going over.
Over with the Kittens. Because Joe Burrow just doesn't know how to lose. Like, Tony said in Rocky 2, I saw that man get beat like he never got beat before in Tennessee, and he just kept coming back for more. Like, he kept coming back.
References.
And that X factor, I mean, it's tough to beat the Chiefs at home, but I'm going with the Bengals.
I like it. I like when people go against the grain. AG Magic, man who's just winning money hand over fist. Tell the people what you think about this matchup.
The Bengals have been playing unbelievable football. Joe Burrow doesn't know how to lose. This guy's a winner. And I like the Bengals to cover the 7. So I think the Chiefs are going to come out with a win. I think the final score is going to be 28-24. We saw what happened in their first meeting during the season where the Chiefs got out to a hot start. The Bengals buckled down their defense and ended up winning the game. Nobody, and I've been saying this for a few weeks, nobody wants to give the Bengals defense any love. These guys have been coming up clutch all postseason long. Second half of the season, they've been playing really well. I think the Bengals defense might be a difference in this game, but at the end of the day, you can't stop Mahomes and Andy Reid. This talent is a generational talent. Mahomes is one of the most clutch quarterbacks I've ever seen in his young career. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we've seen it over and over again. I can't bet against Mahomes. I like the 28-24 final score. Chiefs win, and it's going to go under.
Well, I'm just going to start off with the score, 38-31 KC. And my reasoning for that, so obviously I would buy the half point and move it to 6.5. And then over is going to hit with my 69 total points. But the way I feel, first of all, let's just say the AFC, they have Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen as their 3 main quarterbacks growing. You look at the NFC, you got Brady, Stafford, and Rodgers, who are all very old. Defensively, I think KC will put the pressure on them. I believe Jones had 2 sacks and Clark got 1 the last time they played. And Burrow's been sacked, 300 times this year? So the way I'm looking at it is we're going to use the video game offense is going to score 38. And then I think Cincinnati will get a late touchdown and make it look close. But I'm looking for – I think this should be a three-peat if the offensive line last year for KC did not get hurt going into that Super Bowl. So I'm wearing the Chiefs red. So, again, 38-31 is my score.
I like the heat, and I like that you guys are all bringing different stuff to the table. I'm going to bring a similar mindset but different in a lot of different ways. So right off the bat, I believe that the Cincinnati Bengals should not even be in this game. If you go back and you look at the last play, that last pick that Tannehill threw that gave them a shot to come back, that's pass interference. The 1 seed at home gets that call. So in my mind, the NFL is scripted. They're pushing this new blood on the league, which is fine. And if you go back and look at the first time that Kansas City played the Kittens, they got robbed repeatedly by Ron Turbo and that egregious refereeing crew. They did a terrible job pushing Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals all throughout the playoffs. They're getting these calls left and right. Now, we all know Joe Burrow is God. Joe Burrow had never lost. If Tom Brady had a baby, it'd be Joe Burrow. Okay, fine. I'm willing to give him that. But let's not act like y'all have forgotten who Patrick Mahomes is, what Patrick Mahomes does in these spots. The disrespect that Patrick Mahomes is getting, people are picking Joe Burrow as the better quarterback in this matchup, is absolutely unwarranted. And all Kansas City knows how to do at home this time of year in the playoffs is win. Now, that offensive line is in shambles. You don't give up 9 sacks and win a game. And what does Kansas City do? Spagnuolo loves to dial up the blitz a lot. And they're going to get after Joe Burrow here. That is a weakness that's going to get exposed. Now, there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I'm taking the Chiefs in a blowout, and I'm taking the over. Now, we all know that Jamar's going to get his. We all know that Mixon's going to get his. We all know that Burrow's going to throw all over the place. This is going to be a track meet. I'm talking like 42-31 final is what I'm talking about. But please, stop being prisoners of the moment and see what's real. If we were calling the National Football League fairly, the Bengals wouldn't even be in this game. And let's not forget that they lost some egregious games this year, even at home. Let's not forget that they lost this year with the very same personnel that's going to be on the field Sunday to the Jets. You think Kansas City is losing this game? You're out of your mind. And I understand that momentum is everything, but Chiefs Kingdom, they've been actually issued a challenge. Joe Burrow saying that the SEC is louder than Arrowhead every single week. You're out of your mind. It's going to be deafening in there on Sunday. And whoever turns the ball over is in big trouble because the Chiefs defense knows that they have to do a better job against those weapons. And I don't think that Charvarius Ward's getting enough love for the job he did on Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs did nothing on Sunday. He did nothing. And so now they're going to put together a better product. LSU versus LSU. Tyrann Mathieu will play out there if he's got CTE. Andy Reid will be Andy Reid. You know about Coach Kelsey. You know about Tyreek Hill. And at the end of the day, we all know that while Joe Burrow has arrived, the best player on the field will be Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs roll big. Lots of points. Take out a second mortgage. Steal from your wife. Whatever you got to do, you go to the sports book. This is an absolute lock. I haven't backed down on my team this playoffs, and I'm not about to start. All right, folks, that's the AFC. We're going to pay a couple bills here. We'll come back with the Four Horsemen, and we will break down the NFC. My name is Dexter Reed. You are watching World of Matchups. See you on the flip. All right, guys, welcome back to World of Matchups. AFC breakdown is done. Time to break down the NFC matchup in what should be a really hotly contested game. The San Francisco 49ers flying to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Over under 46, spread minus 3.5. The Rams are favorite. Danny O'Brien, Up Top Studios. Let us hear what you're thinking, bro.
So in the previews, I said if the Niners beat Dallas, they were going to the title game because Rodgers just doesn't know how to get it done lately at home. And we saw what happened. They basically sat on the ball in offense and didn't get it done, and the Niners took advantage. The Rams last week looked good for 2.5 quarters, then went to a prevent offense, which I've never seen before, for a quarter and a half, and they pretty much almost choked the game away. I mean, that was some scary stuff. The real key is what's the fan base going to be like at this game? If the Niners fans pack that place out, I think that's a problem for the Rams because that could psychologically put them down. But the Rams have the one stoppable man, which is Cooper Kupp, and that leads me to say the Rams victory 24-16. So I'm going Rams with the under in that game. I just think Stafford's due to play in a Super Bowl. He's had to sit so long in Detroit with just garbage teams. I mean, he's due to at least get that one Super Bowl appearance. And I think he can pull it off here because, as you know, unless it's in fantasy, it's hard to beat someone 3 times in a year. So, you know, the Niners to beat the Rams 3 times in 1 year, you're asking a lot. So I give the slight edge to the Rams. It's going to be a really close game. And I think, you know, defense might, you know, Jimmy G almost threw 2 pick sixes on, you know, against the Packers the other day. So if he's a little shaky, the Rams will take advantage of that. So I like the Rams in this game.
I like the breakdown. AG Magic, your thoughts on this game?
You know, I said this on the show earlier this season. I didn't even think Jimmy G was going to continue to be the starter midway through the season, and here he is. I mean, the guy doesn't lose games. He doesn't win them either. The Niners have such an amazing squad. They've got talent all over the football field, except for the quarterback position. Jimmy G's doing just enough to get them by. Kyle Shanahan is fortunate. He's got superb talent on their defensive and offensive line and then backfield, and then they're back in on their defense, which is winning them games. Niners got lucky once again. They're playing a divisional opponent, which they've had their number the past 6 times. I do think this is going to be a defensive battle. We've seen Jimmy G struggle mightily on the road. Granted, even though this is the Rams that they're playing, I like a close game, 2017. It's going to go under. Rams prevail. Watch out for the Niners, though. And I don't expect Jimmy G to be there much longer. And this is going to be the defining game here in the defining moment. What do? You get so close. You got such a talented squad, and you have your quarterback lose it. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen on Sunday. Jimmy G is going to lose in the game. They're going to reevaluate their quarterback position, and they're going to move forward from there. It's going to be Rams 2017.
I like it. The Deacon of Dallas. Speak to the people.
I've got the Rams 24-20. And so obviously I got the under and I got the Rams covering. I think this right here, all my notes, bye-bye on this one. San Francisco is playing for, San Francisco is playing for their coach to me on this. They believe in their coach. Just like I also feel like Cincinnati is kind of playing the same way. But the Rams just have too much talent offensively for them. And defensively, Donald, that's all you really got to say. Ramsey's playing great. I just feel like the Cinderella slipper is going to fall off San Francisco. They beat the crap out of my Cowboys, embarrassed us, made us the meme for the next 6 months. And then they went into Green Bay and they played in, 13-degree temperature and played great. I just feel like for some reason this is Stafford's year, and I think it's going to be Rams and KC in the Super Bowl.
I like the heat you guys are bringing. Very, very solid points. I, however, am not going to go the chalk, and for a lot of reasons, and I'll tell you why. I'm taking San Francisco to shock the world and win this game. Even with their backs up against the wall, I do think that they cover the number, and I do think that it goes under. So let's start with the Rams trying to stay classy with how they sell their tickets. Let's start with that. That, to me, shows a lack of faith in any kind of a real home crowd. The last time the Niners went there, it was 65-35. It was basically like a home field for the San Francisco 49ers. I also think that the Niners are going to expose the Rams when it comes to Deebo Samuel. There's nobody on the Rams that can stop Deebo. Nobody. I think Jalen Ramsey is overrated. He doesn't follow the other team's best receiver. He doesn't shadow. And until I see you shadow a guy all game long, every game, you telling the refs that you're the best cover corner in the world, to me, means it holds zero weight. It holds no value. I also watched the Rams almost blow the game to Tampa after being up 27-3. And if there was another 60 seconds in that game, that's exactly what would have happened. Sometimes the team's just got your number. Rob the Raider likes to say styles make fights. Styles make fights in the National Football League, and this is a division game. These teams know each other. I remember saying to Spencer, there's no way that the Indianapolis Colts will go to Jacksonville and lose that game after losing the last 6 games down there, and that's exactly what happened. They didn't just lose. They got murked. And so I don't put a whole lot of substance in we've beaten them the last 6, they're due. I look at the players that are on the field. George Kittle hasn't blown up yet, and George Kittle is healthy. I think this could be a George Kittle game. Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel will run the ball. You can run on the Rams. I know Aaron Donald is there, but the front 4 is pretty good. They're going to have to double him, but they can. Now, I told you, Alex, about Jimmy G earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. The guy just wins. Everybody was trying to anoint Trey Lance. I'm like, Jimmy G is Trent Dilfer 2.0, and they know that there's a good chance that the Chiefs are going to go back to the Super Bowl. They know this, and they want that rematch. They want that revenge. And so when everybody else likes something a lot, I tend to go the other way and try to figure out why I like them. And I just think that San Francisco will squeak this one out yet again on the leg of their kicker. The Rams and Matthew Stafford have been great all year. Cooper Kupp is absolutely fantastic. The Niners secondary is not great, so you know they're going to get theirs. But OBJ to me is not a winner. Shanahan's been there before, and you cannot run on the Niners. You cannot do it. You can try. You cannot do it. And if you can't run, you can't win. And so I'm going to take the Niners in an upset. I like them 24-21 to go to the Super Bowl. And then I like them to go to the Super Bowl no matter who they play in the Super Bowl. And I like them to get their doors blown off. But that's next week.
Well, also, Dex, it's really an urban myth. It's hard to beat somebody 3 times in a season. Because this week they came out with the stat. It's happened 14 out of 22 times. It's 14-8. 14-8. The team wins the 3rd game. So it's kind of an urban myth there. Like I said, I think the San Francisco game, honestly, is a toss-up. personally, I'm going to tease San Francisco and tease the over and under in KC and tease KC this week.
You heard it here first, folks. These are money makers all over. You get to decide based on the information coming out of the World of Matchups championship game panel. Proceed with caution, but don't get gassed. The chalk isn't always the chalk. AG Magic likes the Rams, likes the Chiefs. Up Top Studios likes the Rams and the Bengals. The Deacon of Dallas likes the Chiefs and the Rams. And your host, Dexter Reed, the master of metaphor, loves Kansas City to roll and San Francisco to pull the upset. On behalf of Spencer the Wiz, guys, Grab It Television, thanks you for coming on. And I just want to say a special thank you. You know, you guys have been really good friends of mine. You really have looked out for me in this venture and have supported me financially, coming on the show, you know, giving us, you know, everything we have needed to make this show happen. And we look forward to obviously having you guys on more. I will tell you that World of Matches will be taking that step next year and doing this again. And it's because of guys like you that help me continue to do the work when oftentimes I want to give up. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy the games. You know I'll be in the chat, and we'll see you guys when I see you. All right, guys.
See you guys.
That's the show. You've heard it all here. Big championship week is happening. Again, don't forget, we're all over social media, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube page. Like and subscribe. Go to Grab It Television. Sign up. All the information is right there. We'll bring it to you live and direct when you ask for it. Once again, I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers in an upset and the Kansas City Chiefs. On behalf of Spencer the Wiz, Grab It Television, you have been watching the most comprehensive, progressive, and uncensored brand new National Football League television show to hit the big screen this year. You have been watching World of Matchups. Enjoy the games, everyone. They're sure to be good, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.